So, hello there. So, today, in fact, is a very exciting session. We have Dr. Atul Parvatiyar with us here. He's a marketing professor at Texas Tech University, and we are absolutely delighted to have him here on the SWAM platform for the course on customer centricity. And this week's topic is basically focusing on how to be a trusted advisor. So, sir, thank you for joining us. It's completely a pleasure today. And my question to you is you've been in this field for quite some time, and you have been an entrepreneur, a mentor, a consultant, you have companies of your own, you've been teaching for such a long time. So, I think probably you can help us understand what exactly would be the key difference be between an expert advisor who is absolutely who's knowledgeable about his field of expertise or domain, and how we can differentiate that with a trusted advisor, because today, especially in a customer centric organization where all the decisions are being taken keeping the customer as a focus, so how can we differentiate the two?
Thank you very much, Dr. Shruti.
Yes,
Did I get the name right?
absolutely. So thank you.
And thanks for asking this question. Now, first and foremost, I would say is that they are not two mutually exclusive.
Mhm.
An expert advisor is not mutually exclusive from a trusted advisor. An expert advisor could also be a trusted advisor, and vice versa as well. So the key to being a trusted advisor is to be able to add value to the client or the customer.
Mhm.
And the customer has to feel like that it is in their interest you're doing something. At the end of the day, one simple thing which is true in selling is true in advising. And that is, it is not about you, it is not about your knowledge, it's always about the customer.
That's right.
So there's only one hero or heroine, and that is the customer. So if that is a hero or heroine, the question is, how do you make that person successful? To become a trusted advisor, you have got to make the other person succeed. And when you make the other person succeed and win, is when the other person will start trusting you to say, okay, I won last time, I succeeded last time, and will continue to engage with you.
Mhm.
I have been fortunate from that point of view that, to give an example, that I became trusted advisor to several people. One of them, I'm going to name him. His name is Dal Thomas. I did work with him initially in Coca-Cola Company when he was vice president of Coca-Cola. And he engaged me for doing some work on Burger King account internationally. Brought him the results. And then when he went to Levi's Corporation, I helped him there. When he went to Nautilus Corporation as president of Nautilus International, he brought me there because every time he already had a proof that things are going to work. And he knew that whatever I'm going to do will bring in the results. So the most important part of a trusted advisor is when you bring in results to the customer or the client, and the customer or the client knows that yes, there will be success. I think that's the most fundamental.
So, what basically characteristics or values do we see in a trusted advisor? Like from a consumer, so you have taken up a lot of consultancy, you've consulted a lot of companies that you were mentioning. So, what is that value addition that you bring it on the table, which really connects you with the client? And what is that? What is that? What we say about in products, that the moment you add augmented features to the product, which the consumers never expected, and gives them that wow moment. So, in terms of client servicing, what is that wow moment that you have added in your consultancy projects?
So here's the fundamental thing. The fundamental thing is that you need to have a certain framework
Mhm.
that you've developed or designed
Mhm.
that is unique, or even if it has got features from what you've learned from other places, but you know how to apply that framework.
Okay.
So, and it could be core value. So, as just mentioned, it could be the core offering, it could be the formal offering, it could be the augmented offering.
Right.
But do you have a framework? And that framework, is going to bring results. Are you data driven or are you not data driven? So that means you're fact based, evidence based. In consulting, particularly, evidence based is very important, as well as conceptual based is very important. Conceptually, do you have an idea in terms of a framework that you have in mind that will help you to kind of distill what action to take? So usually, that's why I said experts and trusted advisor are not mutually they are not mutually exclusive. They can overlap. A good expert has probably developed their own framework or has a refined framework or has knows how to apply a framework. They can solve the problem. Now, oftentimes we do this. Remember, as a consultant or an advisor or some sort of evaluation creator, you are a solution provider.
Right.
And solution provider for what? For a problem solving. So somebody is seeking a solution to a problem, and are you the problem solver or not? Can you solve that problem? Do you have a method to solve the problem? So that's the fundamental issue. And that people have got to believe in it. So even before you engage in the task, you have to tell the person how you're going to approach the problem, how you're going to solve the problem. And once the people have a mind, okay, this approach is correct, then they will trust you. Then they will begin to believe in the process that you're going to follow.
Right.
And so, as a good consultant is one who has a well-written proposal to the customer. You discuss with the customer, you understand the problem, and you tell the person in whatever ways to say, this is the way in which it can be solved, and here is how believe you can solve it. And then in the proposal, you list out the framework to say, step 1, I'll do this, step 2, I'll do this, step 3, I'll do this, so that there is certainty in their mind. Because nobody likes, you're going to come in and then I don't know what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
So the trust is developed because they see that there is a concrete game plan. And that game plan is going to yield results, you know what you're going to do.
Right.
And there is a process framework that you're going to follow. You've got a knowledge expertise behind each one. You've got a methodology for each one. Each task has got a methodology. And also, you're going to engage the people. And at the same time, you also know the parameters, because nobody wants a consultant to come in and give an answer completely contrary to what the management is thinking.
Right.
Otherwise, if you do that, you do that upfront to say maybe the results are not going to be what you're expecting.
Right.
And if they agree to it, only then you engage. Otherwise, you're going to create a lot of dissonance. So you want to create resonance where it looks like they are expecting a certain type of a return. They do not know how to articulate it. You're coming in and helping articulate and say this. So they are willing to explore various angles to it, but not complete surprise.
Right.
So complete surprise will never get you the trust.
So is that, is that the path that first you become like an expert advisor and then you move towards a trusted advisor? Now, just like to give an example, if let's say we have a medical problem, we go to a general physician because that person happens to be an expert advisor. And if let's say again and again, if there is any issue that comes up in the family, and if I find that medical practitioner to be again worthwhile going back to, eventually the person becomes a trusted advisor for me. So is that the path one needs to take to become a trusted advisor?
It's a good question. Trust is usually an outcome of some process. People very seldom suddenly somebody does not drop from the sky and becomes trusted. So to become a really trusted advisor, obviously you can have first-hand experience with the person, and over a period of time you develop trust. Or you have somebody else whom you trust, who has given you the reference, and you believe in that person, and that person has said that you believe in the person, the other person believes in this person. So either it is inheritance of trust or first-hand experience in trust.
Right.
Otherwise, nobody has a label, I'm a trusted advisor, and here are my particular qualities until you need to trust me.
Yes.
That doesn't work because that is something which
And it works, I think, over a period of conversations and interactions.
absolutely.
And then probably it leads a path towards mentorship.
Very true. It's also coaching as well, a lot of coaching. But remember, one of the important things is trust grows, trust develops. Trust is never static. It's a very dynamic process.
Right.
So initially, there is a certain degree of trust in the expertise of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Then as work begins, you see evidence.
Right.
And then you begin to also trust the person.
Right.
So not only the expertise, but the person.
Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to trust the results.
Right.
So it's kind of a lot of things happen, but they don't happen all at the same time.
Right.
It goes through a number of things. There is a certain degree of uncertainty for the client. Client has listened to you about some expertise, believes, but still has a doubt. Will always have some doubt to say, we don't know whether the person will be able to accomplish it or not. So they need to see some things. And along the way, how you work with the person and assurance and reassurance is extremely important.
So that's, in fact, when you mentioned about clients and corporates and brands. So there's certain brands which even if they come with a new product, but just with the label behind that particular product, we know for sure that it's coming out from a well trusted and reliable brand. Like if I take example of Coca-Cola or Tata's or P&G. So if you could throw some light over here, that how what is the perception that the consumers have towards these brands who have been there for a long period of time, have a legacy, have the credibility. Immediately the consumer will pick up the product from the market as compared to the startup brands who still, they have to struggle through this path.
Sure enough, that's a very good question. And for this, you need to think about the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about history of branding, where did it start from? It started from cattle, where some cattle farm owner literally branded the cattle, saying that this belongs to my, farm. And I'm giving my assurance on this. So there was an assurance given. And if you look again into pharmaceutical products, it was the chemists that gave an assurance that it is my compound.
Right.
So it was always, look into all pharma companies earlier, it used to have the family name, Mr. Glaxo, Mr. Smith, Mr. Beecham, all these people. So they gave their own name. A large part of brand name, even over here, Tata's, Birla's.
Yes.
So what happens is there is a name given by somebody who you trust they have done things. So when somebody gives you an assurance that it is my name is there, I take all responsibility for its quality. I take responsibility for it's not going to fail. Then when you're willing to lend your name and you're willing to commit to it, then trust develops.
Yes.
And then there are brands. Of course, there are those people who don't give their own name, but they build a brand. And they build a brand, therefore, the choice of creating a family brand, the idea is that you draw upon the family brand's equity into individual products. However, there are many companies that have developed multi-brand strategy. They don't want the risk of the entire family of brands to be impacted. So when you do multi-brand, you can still succeed, but what you need to do is invest a lot in the brand.
Yeah.
When you've got a family brand, then that investment in which has already happened in the brand, you can draw upon that in less investment to create the trust. But if you want to create a startup and you've got a startup brand, then you have to invest a lot to build the brand image, and then it will get trusted. So it's a matter of what's your ability to invest in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect.
And if you're a new one, then either you have got something that you're willing to wait, or you are a well-known person and you put your own name there. So you give your own name to it.
I think it's more to do with luxury brands, Italian and the French. They were actually, the origin was from the family brands. And
not only there, not luxury was certainly there.
Yes.
So was also, as I said, non-luxury like in the case of cattle.
Yes.
Or in the case of pharma, they're non-luxury products. But if you look into the branded marketing, what has happened, the very first branded marketing product was Pure Soap.
Hmm. Hmm.
Pure Soap was the very first one that came in almost as a branded soap marketed that way. And it had its own little several brand characteristics, made the translucent brand, the glycerine and other things.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to build a brand, and it was Mr. Pierce who created.
Hmm. So one last question for
Yeah.
you, and this is in relation with the topic itself. What is your? We would like to know your insights on customer centricity, on customer centric, on being a customer centric organization, and how it is the need of the hour today.
So, customer centricity can have different connotations for people, but the true meaning of customer centricity is that all your business processes are based on the customer.
Mhm.
So it's not functionally based. It is not like functional, operational, but customer driven.
Right.
So customer centricity really refers to when customer is the focal point for all business decisions.
Right.
Earlier, it used to be only marketing focus.
Yes.
Now it is almost everything that is customer centricity. So customer centricity is crucial today because increasingly we are realizing that not all customers are equal. All of them are different.
Yes.
And the more ability we have to serve them individually, more customer centricity is developing.
Absolutely.
And customer centricity changes the way in which you organize your processes. Rather than functionally you're driven, operationally driven, you're customer driven.
Yeah, it's a complete mindset and the culture in the organization which has to change.
Correct. There is a lot of transformation. You have to do a lot of transformative activities. You have to change the organization from a customer focused point of view.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And that's it.
Thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.